Tonight, a deadly shooting at a Toronto street festival sparks fear and outrage.
Oh my God.
The panic scene as crowds ran for cover, and the latest on the investigation.
The brazen, despicable quality of this, the amount of danger to the members of the public.
Plus, the questions it raises about the safety of street festivals.
I close my eyes, I can just only hear the shots.
Escalating violence between the U.S. and Iran as a shaky ceasefire continues to unravel.
The Iranians have weaponized geography.
What it means for passage through the crucial Strait of Hormuz. And floodwaters threaten a Manitoba community.
The lift stations to the dike itself, everything is getting watched constantly.
As a major river swells, thousands get ready to leave at a moment's notice.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hannamansing.
Police continue to search for answers tonight after a popular Toronto street festival was rocked by gunfire this weekend, turning the celebration into a scene of panic and terror. Shots were fired at the Salsa on St. Clair Festival Saturday evening, sending crowds of people running, desperately trying to get away. 2 people were killed, 4 others injured. No arrests have been made, but police say there is no ongoing threat to the public. The shooting has left many questioning the safety of large public events and what can be done to increase security. We'll have more on that. But first, Jennifer Yoon takes us through the chaos that unfolded the moment gunshots rang out.
Oh my God.
This is not how thousands of Torontonians expected their night to go. The family-friendly Salsa on St. Clair Festival ending in gunfire. Police say at least 2 people shot at one another while moving through the crowd. 2 men are dead and 4 others badly injured by gunshots.
I mean, just the brazen, despicable quality of this exchange here, the amount of danger to the members of the public.
Police say they've recovered 2 firearms. They haven't arrested anyone, but say there's no active threat, calling the investigation complicated.
It's complex because of the sheer number of people involved, just the chaotic amount of information. There'd be lots of video to pour through.
And it's just wild. It's like, that's when I was really like, wait, what's happening?
About 13,000 people were at the event, police say.
But I seen people part like the Red Sea right as police came. I was thinking, why is everybody parting? Why is the cops here? And then as I turn my head, everything starts unraveling. I see some dude get literally, people are like carrying him like a stretcher.
That image of his body and the contractions on his chest really has stuck with me. Now waking up this morning and into last night, I couldn't sleep.
The morning after, the shock percolating in the tight-knit neighborhood.
I close my eyes, I can just only hear the shots.
For some, the horror has turned to fury.
It is a community, and I think that's what angers me right now is this happened in broad daylight. And there was already police around, so you go, okay, but what more needs to happen to feel safe? And you realize nothing can make you feel safe.
A lost sense of safety for many who've been coming to the festival for decades.
I feel a little bit insecure now. I mean, especially bringing my kids, I feel insecure because I don't know what has happened to Canada.
This is one of 3 separate shootings in Toronto this weekend. Early Sunday, near the waterfront, police arresting a man who exchanged gunfire with another suspect. And Friday, another shooting, killing 1 man and seriously injuring 2 others. But police are trying to reassure the public.
Toronto is one of the safest cities in the world.
But many of the eyewitnesses I've spoken to say it doesn't feel safe. Several of them told me that they'll be avoiding festivals altogether for a while one told me, even though the shooting was scary, it wasn't surprising.
And Jennifer, where does the investigation go from here?
Well, because there were so many people at the event, 13,000, police say they're expecting to have to go through a lot of video evidence. They say they'll be relentless in pursuing those responsible. Day 2 of the festival, meanwhile, has been canceled, and police are asking people to continue avoiding the area as they investigate.
Jennifer Yoon near the scene of the shooting in Toronto. The shooting is reigniting conversations about safety at large public events. Just over a year after 11 people were killed in a vehicle ramming at Vancouver's Lapu Lapu Festival. But as Caroline Bargood explains, ramping up security isn't so simple.
After the latest incident of gun violence on Toronto streets, the city councillor says enough is enough.
These gangsters are putting all this at risk. They're destroying the very core fiber of our city with their wanton disregard for any kind of laws or consequences.
Police were patrolling when gunshots erupted at the weekend street festival, but security experts say more measures are needed.
The presence of cameras and security guards are no longer like effective deterrents. Things like gang violence and higher points of organized crime are escalating and playing its role.
In Vancouver, police now use these barriers at outdoor public events as an extra layer of security. Since the 2025 car ramming at the Lapu Lapu Day Festival killed 11 people and injured dozens more. But protecting crowds from gun violence is challenging.
It's impossible to stop everything. If somebody is intent on doing harm, they will do harm.
At this Vancouver festival Sunday, crowds were completely fenced in with just one entrance and exit. Everyone going through metal detection and bag searches.
Yeah, it looks like they've taken precautions for it. And like when we got here this morning, I saw tons of security. I don't know where they're mingling now, but I feel safe.
I would say like it's pretty safe actually, but there's always insecurity, so you have to be always careful, right?
Festival organizers say the price tag for security has tripled over the last few years, in part because of the increased cost of policing.
It is hard. We have been talking to the city because of that, because we have been doubled our police, and it is high cost for the organizers.
Security experts say it's not enough to rely on others to stay safe.
People need to start thinking about their own safety and not just giving their safety responsibility to somebody else, an organizer for an event.
He says be aware of your surroundings and know your emergency exits. That way, if something bad happens, you'll know what to do. Caroline Bargut, CBC News, Vancouver.
Tonight, the United States is unleashing another wave of airstrikes on Iran. The U.S. military also hit Iranian missile and drone sites this morning, the most intense attacks on Iran in weeks. Iran retaliating with attacks across the Gulf region. And as Julia Wong explains, there's fear the latest wave of violence could become the new normal.
A stream of U.S. missile attacks overnight pounded about 140 Iranian military targets, according to U.S. Central Command. The barrage, a response to an Iranian strike on a commercial vessel making its way through the Strait of Hormuz.
We hit them very hard last night. We had to deal with them yesterday. They were giving up everything. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours after that, they hit a ship with a drone.
Iran struck back, going after U.S. military targets in the region. Explosions seen in the sky above Qatar and destruction on the ground in Kuwait. An Iranian army spokesperson says, last night, the Americans intervened for the umpteenth time, and I say our presence gave a firm and overwhelming response. The latest violence, the result of tensions over control of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran wants ships to use a route close to its shores. The U.S. is not on board.
The Iranians have weaponized geography, and they have found a weapon that is much safer and more effective than the development of a nuclear weapon.
Iran now says the corridor is closed indefinitely. The U.S. insists it is open and says American forces are positioned and prepared to ensure freedom of navigation. Tensions over the strait could be here to stay, says this analyst.
This could be the new normal, although I suspect that's not sustainable. The naval blockade could be reimposed, and Iran will begin to hurt economically, but then again, so will the international oil economy.
Trump has said the initial agreement with Iran is over. But behind the scenes, mediators are still working to permanently end the conflict and de-escalate tensions on all sides. Julia Wong, CBC News, Washington.
Officials in Thailand say at least 27 people are dead and more than 60 are injured after a massive fire engulfed a pub in Bangkok. This video, posted online by first responders, shows people running out of the building as the fire spread. Witnesses say it started at the front of the pub, and that sent people running to the back. Thailand's prime minister says that's where many of the victims were found and there were no fire escapes. He says the cause of the blaze is under investigation, but a musician performing at the pub reported seeing smoke coming from a circuit breaker near the stage before the fire broke out. Residents of Manitoba's second largest city are hoping for the best tonight, but they are bracing for the worst. About 4,000 people are on evacuation alert as rising river levels threaten to flood low-lying areas. Brandon is about 220 kilometers west of Winnipeg. It sits on the banks of the winding Assiniboine River. Water levels are already 2.5 meters higher than normal after some heavy rains. The river is expected to crest within the next 24 hours. But as Karen Pauls tells us, officials in Brandon hope lessons from a historic flood 15 years ago will help protect property and lives.
Where's your ball? We have to pack a ball.
Lana Carnegie and her two pets live 2 blocks from the Assiniboine River in Brandon. She's one of about 4,000 people under evacuation warning.
After we came back from the walk, I got the pet stuff already by the back door, the kennels and the food and their favorite toys and things like that, just in case we go.
The Assiniboine is now 2.5 meters higher than usual, with a crest expected in the next 24 hours.
Monitoring.
Brandon's mayor says he has confidence in the prep work crews have already done and the improvements to bridges, roads and dikes since a major flood in 2011.
From the lift stations to the dike itself, everything is getting watched constantly. The roads, the sandbags, it could be way worse.
But as we were speaking, he got notice the water was starting to leak through super sandbag dikes flowing over a major thoroughfare. City crews setting up pumps to clear it out. Western Manitoba has been hit with a series of storms and record rainfall. Roads, bridges and train tracks have been washed out. The regional hospital is expected to be closed for months because of flood damage.
We want to make sure that we get through this so that the province and others can continue to focus on our neighbors. We just don't have enough capacity.
On Friday, Premier Wab Kinew praised Brandon for its efforts.
I think folks are doing a good job of trying to anticipate and prepare.
Kinew announced a new flood recovery assistance program to help people without insurance. The province is also matching charitable donations to the Canadian Red Cross, committing an initial $15 million. Back in Brandon, Brian Martin and his wife came to see just how high the river is getting.
They've done a lot of work. I don't know exactly how much, but it seems to be working anyways.
He and so many other people are keeping a really close eye on those water levels, hoping they won't need provincial disaster assistance in the upcoming days. Ian?
And Karen, what are officials forecasting?
Yeah, they're expecting about another half meter or so overnight, and those levels will remain for a couple of days. But so far, Mother Nature is cooperating a little bit with really hot weather and no rain in the forecast until about Wednesday. Ian?
Karen Pauls in Brandon, Manitoba.
It's just a mess, and it's something we can't control.
At least one person has died because of flash flooding in Missouri caused by heavy rain that forecasters describe as historic. Some homes were submerged, others were even swept away. More than 200 people had to be airlifted from a summer camp where they'd been trapped by washed out roads. Hundreds of firefighters have finally contained a deadly wildfire which was sweeping through southern Spain. At least 12 people have been killed since the blaze broke out Thursday night. Most of them believed to be foreign nationals who ignored shelter-in-place orders. So far, the flames have scorched more than 6,000 hectares of land. Lindsey Graham is being remembered as a powerful and controversial U.S. senator. He died suddenly at the age of 71. Graham was a close ally of Donald Trump, but as Katie Simpson shows us, he was once one of the U.S. president's fiercest critics.
Long time no see.
All appeared perfectly well on Friday as Lindsey Graham wrapped up a visit to Ukraine, which is partly why the senator's death seems so shocking. By Saturday night, paramedics rushed to Graham's home for a cardiac arrest call. The preliminary cause of death, an aorta rupture stemming from a hardening of arteries.
He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually.
President Donald Trump lowered flags at the White House to honor his friend, saying he spoke with Graham on the phone in his final hours.
He sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. Had a right to be, and he was a worker.
My hope is that
Graham first represented South Carolina in the House before being elected to the Senate in 2002.
I will work every day.
He aggressively advocated for U.S. military intervention abroad, backing the war in Iraq, building support for Ukraine and Israel.
To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
He evolved into a vocal Trump ally, even though their personal relationship was fraught at times.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office.
That initial criticism faded after Trump won in 2016. They eventually became golf buddies, and Graham proved himself useful to advance Trump's agenda, notably helping make the Supreme Court more conservative, defending then-nominee Brett Kavanaugh when he faced sexual assault allegations.
This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics.
By his peers, Graham is being remembered as a dedicated lawmaker.
Lindsey Graham believed in keeping Americans safe.
You have folks in political life who can disagree and not be disagreeable about it.
On social media, Graham's death is far more divisive.
And I don't care if you're pissed off that I'm celebrating. Lindsey Graham's a terrible person.
There are countless videos and memes mocking Graham in some corners of the internet. Graham was up for re-election in the midterms, which means Republicans have to quickly replace him. While South Carolina is reliably conservative, this significantly alters the race. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell is ending weeks of speculation about his health. McConnell released a photo of himself and his wife, saying he'll not be returning to the Senate floor quite yet. He said he suffered a fall that required hospital care and has a mild case of pneumonia. It is the 84-year-old's first public statement since he was hospitalized last month. At the Calgary Stampede, Prime Minister Mark Carney has been making the case for United Canada ahead of an important public vote in the province about whether to have a referendum on independence. Rafi Boudjikanian shows us how both sides are drawing crowds.
For the Prime Minister, this is the easy part. There we go. Playing to a friendly crowd at this community breakfast.
We're a great country together.
Where our province, we're dealing with a separatist question.
In just over 3 months, Albertans will vote on whether to drop the notion of separation or pursue a referendum to decide if the province stays or goes.
Momentum is real, and you are real.
The bigger challenge for Carney, convincing the hundreds who showed up to this pro-separation breakfast they should stay Canadian.
We're focused on increasing the number of people who are prepared to think about Alberta's relationship in Canada and whether or not Alberta can do better. So our real focus is not on those who've already decided.
One of Carney's plays to mitigate separatist sentiment proposed a new pipeline to the West Coast that's in the last stages of approval before consultations and construction. But even some unity supporters are skeptical it will get done.
Not in my lifetime. He's under pressure from the Alberta government. And I think he is trying to, he's definitely trying to work with them.
The Stampede has seen an unusually high number of visits from Liberals.
Obviously, it's very important this year with the looming referendum because we're not going to have a chance to have this conversation again.
Conservatives, too, have been talking to their followers.
We will unite our people and our country around our common values, common history, common bonds, and common sense. We will fight for the country.
As the messaging ramps up on all sides, most pollsters say support for separation remains around 30%. The race ahead could well be about mobilizing votes rather than convincing the unpersuaded. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Calgary.
A Nova Scotia family says they spent thousands of dollars to keep their son's disability tax credit.
We want people to understand there's this gap in the system and that it shouldn't be there.
There are calls for Ottawa to make the benefit more accessible. More Canadians are now trading homes when they travel.
People are looking for what we call authentic experiences.
Why this way of vacationing is taking off. And later, we revisit my conversation with Jeremy and Catherine Hansen. We're back in 2. A Nova Scotia family says they've depended on the federal disability tax credit for years for their son who's on the autism spectrum. But when he turned 19, his application wasn't renewed. Selena Alders now with the obstacles they've faced to get much needed support.
What do you think about it?
Oh. Martin O'Driscoll will always need someone by his side. He's on the autism spectrum and has an intellectual disability.
I guess you could describe Martin as having high support needs. He's not nonverbal, but he's also not conversational.
For years, the O'Driscoll family has relied on the federal disability tax credit, a tax break worth up to $1,500 per year. But when Martin turned 19, his application renewal was denied. As a legal adult, his parents could no longer apply on his behalf. They had to spend thousands of dollars and go through the court system to become his legal guardians.
I was like, what? So
We were surprised to hear that.
yeah, that was the shocker.
The federal government recently expanded its disability tax credit program, which was applauded by advocates. But they caution it won't have its intended impact if there are barriers to access. This researcher says the government should provide more resources to help families navigate a complicated system.
There are very few legal clinics across the country that focus on the rights of persons with disabilities and what's needed by persons with disabilities.
We want people to understand there's this gap in the system and that it shouldn't be there.
Martin's parents say they understand the requirement might be needed as a safeguard against fraud, but argue the bar is too high.
Special needs parents are already really burdened with appointments and evaluations and school, and then to have all this administrative stuff on top of it is very stressful.
Martin has since been reapproved. The Federal Department of Finance says obtaining legal guardianship is a matter of provincial and territorial law, and that Ottawa will continue to find ways to improve the tax credits application process. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
More and more Canadians are trying out a way to lower the cost of vacations. They're essentially swapping homes with people who live where they want to visit. Ina Sidhu shows us how it works.
Canadians are getting creative to afford their next holiday. As rising costs squeeze budgets, more travelers are swapping homes instead of paying for hotels or short-term rentals.
Being a teacher, I have, a lot of freedom in the summer to travel quite far for a significant amount of time.
Calgarian Kristy Moore says home exchanges are making longer trips more realistic.
I have 3 bedrooms upstairs, my primary one, but then I have 2 guest rooms.
The concept is simple. Members of online platforms pay an annual fee of a few $100s. They can then exchange directly with another homeowner or can earn credits to book another home on the platform.
If you were traveling for 2 weeks, to save a few $1,000s on accommodation might open up some other opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Tatiana Giberson is currently swapping her Calgary home with a family in Medford, Oregon. They've done this a dozen times, going as far away as France and Mexico.
It is a very appealing experience to literally just try on somebody else's life for a change. The secondary factor is obviously cost savings.
Platforms behind the trend say more Canadians are signing up. People Like Us says membership has grown about 20% over the past year.
Canada used to be our 5th largest country in the world, and now it's our 2nd largest.
HomeExchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo.
HomeExchange, featured in the holidays, says 15,000 exchanges are planned in Canada this summer, up nearly 30% from last year.
Because of the rising travel costs, people are getting more comfortable with getting a little bit outside of their comfort zone.
Experts say this trend reflects a shift in how Canadians are traveling.
People are looking for what we call authentic experiences. They want to be within the communities.
But like any sharing platform, the biggest hurdle is trust. Users say reviews and video calls help build confidence before handing over the keys. Ina Sidhu, CBC News, Calgary.
From launch to lasting impact, we look back at the Artemis II moon mission and all it inspired.
We are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper.
Jeremy Hansen and his wife Catherine share their reflections on that profound journey.
It's like, I got the hair,
You know, I got the height. I won't say I really got the face, but some people do say that I got the face.
And later we introduce you to the reigning Erling Haaland lookalike champ in our moment. This week, astronaut Jeremy Hansen announced he's leaving the Canadian Space Agency. The news comes 3 months after his historic flight around the moon. Back in the spring, just days after Hansen splashed down to Earth, I sat down with him and his wife, Catherine. They shared what it was like to be part of the Artemis II mission and for Catherine to watch the return from mission control. Let's go back to launch day.
And OTC, NTDN 212 for ComCheck.
And that moment when the launch director said, I don't know if she actually said all systems go, but basically that was her message.
Verify no constraints and go for launch.
So I was sitting there watching the rocket, watching the capsule a few kilometers away, and then I heard your voice.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
I found that a really moving moment, but I'm curious for you at that moment, how were you feeling?
A guarded enthusiasm, probably. Everything felt positive. I was excited to go. I was well rested. Everything felt good. It was more serene than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's not bravado or courage, or it's not that. It's more about just preparation and acceptance of I'm along for the ride on this thing for the next 8 minutes once it goes, and just being at peace with that. If that moment was moving for me, I can't imagine what it was like for you.
Yeah, we were standing on the roof and the rocket was front and center. And when we heard them say, the crew, we're going for our families, we're going for our teams, we're going for all humanity, that's when the tears started, because I think that's when we as a group acknowledged it was actually going to happen. And of course, nobody knew at that point what this mission was going to mean for all humanity, but it carried with it a lot of meaning that Jeremy said those words.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
We reported the superlatives a lot, the furthest humans had been from Earth, the areas of the moon seen for the first time by human eyes. What was notable for you about what you saw or did on this mission?
There were a lot of moments, but if I just narrow down to the views that I saw at the windows, so many different perspectives. Like my first look at the Earth was basically the Pacific Ocean, and it was just beautiful and enormous. Like, it's enormous, but it's hard to fathom it until you really see it from like horizon to horizon, just how big it is. And that's not even all of it that you're seeing at that point early in the mission. And then next time I looked, I saw Australia. It was just so red and so beautiful. And then we were getting further away, and the next time I looked, I can kind of see all of the Earth. Then we saw the picture that's been shared a lot, where we saw the auroras in the North and the South Pole, and the whole Earth. And then we saw crescent Earth, and then we saw the dark side of the Earth. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And that's just like in the first day. Like we were already turning into kids in the spacecraft, seeing all this stuff. But also to see the three-dimensionality of the moon was really striking. See like the texture in the moon. You're not used to seeing it. And all the satellite images you study, that detail is there, but it's not the same as you can see it with your eyes when it's real out the window. The best part of hearing that description, and you do a beautiful job of describing it, is watching your reaction. I mean, you're a physician, you're a scientist, you've seen and studied lots of things, but what do you think as you hear your husband talk about that?
Yeah, I have no desire to go to space, but it makes me want to see it that way. And I think that Jeremy and the crew did such a great job that I can almost close my eyes and see what they describe as a three-dimensionality of it. Like there's a globe floating in the blackness, and they're getting closer and closer to it. And in one of our private family conferences, he described to the kids this cliff, this rock wall. He's like, it's like you could just go down and rock climb on it. So it gives us this feeling of things we've seen here on Earth, but they're out there. It's fun to see the enthusiasm and the boy come out.
Space travel is a risky business. When I interviewed you in September, I remember thinking to myself, I I probably shouldn't talk about that, but you strode right in there in the interview and you talked about it. You made reference to loss of crew. It took me half a beat to kind of process what you had just said and how your family, you needed to feel comfortable that your family felt comfortable with the potential for loss of crew. How do you deal with that risk?
It's easier for me, but harder to put it on them. That's where the challenge is. For me, it just kind of feels like a bit of a selfish thing to put them in that situation where they have to worry. They have to watch a rocket leave with me on it. They have to know that I'm 400,000 kilometers away, and they have to watch a re-entry and a blackout in communication, and that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we had support, of course, people preparing us, lots of conversations, and we asked the tough questions of Jeremy and had the courageous conversations with our kids and our family. And you can never prepare for something like that, but there were many times in that 10-day experience, launch and landing, 2 of them, when it felt like we had to be prepared, and that was a possibility. And we're so grateful that we're sitting here now not having had to deal with that. But we were as ready as we could possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation we're just having now, I would only have it with you safely, back on the ground. And so I can ask you about maybe a moment that, looking back at it, is a little bit funny, which is your family watching the interview that I did with Jeremy when he talked about having to prepare.
Yeah. So you had asked him, and he said that he's talked about that with his wife and children, and then he stopped for a moment and he said, well, there's more work to do there. And we watched it together, and I said, there is more work to do there, because we dealt with certain things but not as fully as we knew we needed to yet. And we had quite a laugh about it, so we still talk about it, and there was more work to do, so thanks to you, we did it.
Well, you might have helped me realize that. So.
In that moment.
Glad to help. Let's talk about, I don't know, is it the second riskiest part of the mission after launch, which is re-entry?
This will be the final major maneuver of the mission for Integrity, an 8-second burn of Integrity's thruster. Burn underway.
As you enter the atmosphere, as you deal with the G-forces, the fireball, what was that like?
That day is very interesting because you're on a timeline and you can't change it. And we had done everything that we'd planned to do, and it wasn't overly rushed. We'd done it and it went well and it went smoothly. So I entered that moment like in a tranquil manner. And I just was sort of resigned to enjoying the ride. I was anxious to feel like what the Gs, would really feel like for that long.
Let me just jump in. I mean, you're a fighter pilot, so you're used to Gs. How did this compare?
It's a different direction. So fighter pilot, when you're flying a fighter jet and you turn, the Gs come down from the head towards your toes. And in this case, they push you through your chest into the seat. And it's kind of comforting, like it's kind of tucking you into the seat.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But
no,
okay,
yeah.
That's one perspective.
I've never heard that before. It's comforting. It's like being tucked in. Yeah.
And like all of that is relatively smooth, but there's a lot of noises going on in the spacecraft. Like you hear the thrusters are very loud and they bang. They're very short pulses, but they're loud and they're sharp. And it twists, it rolls the capsule as it tries to steer towards the landing site. So there's a lot going on there. You hear the sound. There's a lot of noise as the plasma's forming around the capsule, and you hear it all. It's kind of a crazy thing. Like you're falling to Earth. We started at 39 times the speed of sound, and it's slowing us down with these G-forces. And then as we got down around 100,000 feet, the capsule sort of nosed over, if you will, and was just mostly falling straight down. And it just started to bobble. Like we were just kind of bobbling around in there. And that part I wasn't expecting. Didn't feel unstable, but it was like, that's interesting. What's it doing? And the thrusters were picking up their firings at that point. And then I was just watching the altitude come down. And then eventually the drogues came out, and that's pretty violent when they come out.
These are these huge parachutes that are meant to, the first sort of attempt to slow you guys down.
Yes, they take you, out of that transonic region to a point where they can open the big parachutes. That's pretty violent. And if you look at what the 0G indicator was doing then, like, it's going all over the place. And that's what it felt like in there. We were really bobbing around. But again, it's kind of comforting because you're like, I'm glad those things are out there doing that. They're working and they're slowing us down.
Main chute deploy.
And then they release and you like fall again. And then the mains come out. And that's when like Christina and I fist bumped, because it was like, okay, now we're gonna be okay.
When we come back, Catherine Hansen's view of the re-entry scene around the world.
I found that to be the most terrifying day of my life.
And Jeremy Hansen on being back on Earth.
You saw a lot of emotion on that stage. Just what I was feeling.
We have crossed the threshold, now entering the Earth's atmosphere. Communications blackout. No voice, no data from the crew.
So I went into mission control, and I had Jenny Gibbons, a Canadian astronaut, with me, and my son, family around. And I found that to be the most terrifying day of my life. Absolutely, again, a moment when I did not expect that big ball of fire to make it to Earth safely. The loss of signal was so slow. Like, waiting for that 6 minutes was excruciating. I didn't realize I was crying audibly until people were looking at me and bringing me Kleenex. But once we heard the reacquisition of signal, for me, when I heard Reed say that he copied Houston, I was extremely relieved.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
And Jeremy's reminded me that the mains weren't out at that point, so maybe it wasn't a time to be relieved, but just to know that they were in one piece coming out of that plasma ball was, for me, the moment when I could finally relax.
I mean, your candor throughout this really has been, I've admired it so much. And I think it's interesting to hear what families go through. It's good not to kind of overlook that, because that's got to be so difficult. Clearly was so difficult. Speaking of...
I just want to touch on that, Ian. I've watched a lot of friends launch to space and come back from space, and I get really nervous watching them come home. And again, it's so hard on everyone on Earth, but it's not like that for the astronauts.
It was like you were being tucked in.
Yeah. It's much better to be in the capsule than to be watching it, feeling like you have no control over it.
So that was Friday. Saturday, I look at my phone and I see the four of you are going to be on that stage at NASA speaking to the public. I thought, I didn't expect to see you for days. And then you come up with this like beautiful, perfect statement.
What you saw was a group of people who loved contributing, having meaningful contribution, and extracting joy out of that. And what we've been hearing is that was something special for you to witness. I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us. We are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper.
That one was just kind of an inspired moment for me. We were all really tired. I think some of the barriers were down for us. I mean, you saw a lot of emotion on that stage. And I definitely wasn't talking to just the people in that room or just NASA. I mean, we really felt as a crew that we weren't really doing anything that special up there. I mean, it's special, what happened was special, but not because we were special. And I know maybe you'll give me a hard time about trying to reflect this back, but we just were doing our job. I think that's what we were trained to do. We were really well supported. We were really well prepared. We just did what we loved to do and had been dreaming of doing. It wasn't anything extraordinary what we did, but it was extraordinary what we jointly accomplished.
As we prepare to go out of radio communication, we're still to feel love from Earth. From the cabin of Integrity here, as we surpass the furthest distance distance humans have ever traveled from planet Earth.
At what point did you realize what a phenomenon this mission had been? Because something special happened during those days. It went from, in my experience, people not really understanding the mission. Oh, they're not landing on the moon. What's Artemis 2? To people who were just glued to what was going on. When could you first tell that something special was going on?
Yeah, that is a really great question. I haven't reflected on that. You know, we did try to explain to people this was sort of akin to Apollo 8 and what they would be doing. And I know that the crew, and in our conversations with crew families, the hope was that this would be a unifying force and that this would be a collaborative experience and that people would have an experience and see themselves in accomplishing big things. But never, ever in a million years did I imagine that objective would be met so fulsomely. When we realized as crew families that it seemed like the whole world was watching them, it started to feel like the realization of that bigger dream of this being a positive, unifying force for the world. That seems crazy to imagine, but that's what it started to feel like.
When did you become aware of that?
Little insights from Catherine and the kids when I talked to them. The kids started to tell like stories of some of the reels they were watching, and I was like, oh wow, it's really interesting. And then really when we got back, just what people were saying to us, like everybody we saw on the ship and then everybody we saw in San Diego, and as we got on the plane to fly here, it started to sink in for us a little bit that this is bigger than we realized, and it's still sinking in.
So given everything you've gone through, all the immense challenges, do you feel now like you can't wait to go back into space, or you're content to be on Earth?
A bit of both. I'm definitely content to be on Earth and happy to be here. I had the time of my life up there, and I'd love to go back at some point. I have no expectation that I will, but you never know what happens. And I'm excited about the future. Maybe more and more people will be going, and I would love to share what I've learned with others. I'd love to see more people experience this. I think it would be good for humanity. So I don't know what the future brings in, but that was a pretty extraordinary 10 days in space, and I will definitely miss them.
Jeremy has a lot of great qualities, including mental stamina. When we did that interview, it was early evening. He'd already spent the day doing a long news conference, speaking to all the major U.S. networks, and just did a French language interview with Canadian media. But he and Catherine sat down and told us we could take as much time as we needed. Coming up, a Norwegian soccer fan scores FIFA tickets after winning a lookalike contest.
The steak and the milk really got me like up there.
His resemblance to striker Erling Haaland, next in our moment. This may look like Norway's soccer star Erling Haaland, but it's actually a fan named Per who recently won a lookalike contest in Miami. He was one of 17 competitors cheered on by a large crowd as they showed off their best Haaland looks. That competition and its champion is our moment tonight.
I won a Haaland lookalike competition. There's like 20 people, and we're all dressed up as Haaland, trying to be like him. He's the best striker in the world from Norway. I would say that my aesthetics is like, I got the hair, I got the height. We went all in for this contest. We bought a steak. We went to a mall to get a whole milk. That's what he eats. He eats steak. They started cheering for who they wanted to win. I won 2 tickets to the game. The steak and the milk really got me like up there. His character, I would say, just a super nice and chill, humble, relaxed guy off the pitch. When he's on the field, he's a beast, he's an animal, he's a legend. It's cool to be compared to him. I'm so proud of how far we got. Haaland, I love you, man. If you want to hang out, bro, I'll make a steak, bro. It's just all fun.
Well, that's a new way to measure the popularity of the World Cup. I mean, you could look at TV ratings, you could look at attendance, you could look at sales of merchandise, but that a lookalike contest for a Norwegian soccer star makes the moment, I think that's probably a pretty good measure of just how popular the World Cup has become. I'm Ian Hannamansing in Vancouver. I hope you can join me weekdays on News Network. We're live at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Good night.